Miguel and John. We're going to just touch, first of all, on this Chelsea story and Boehly's dressing room blast for Chelsea flops after Brighton defeat. And this is really, Miguel, about Chelsea owner, hands-on. What do you make of it?
I suppose just another remarkable piece of colour to the season. I mean, it's obviously, bar when Chelsea lose, which has been often, a lot of their games have been uneventful. But everything off the pitch has been, this sort of mad soap opera. I suppose one view here is, I mean, it's an owner overstepping his mark, going into the dressing room, not very standard in football, generally raises questions about dysfunction at a club. I suppose the other side, it's an illustration of the desperation of where Chelsea are right now, and shows just how chaotic it's been that he's felt the need to go that far. I mean, from that perspective, he's not wrong, although obviously one question will be how much the owner's plans have contributed to this.
Yeah, John, let's just quickly look at the Sun, which is along the same lines here, hand of Todd. And you were at the Frank Lampard press conference today ahead of their clash tomorrow with Real Madrid. Frank Lampard defending his owner. I guess he's going to defend his owner. He's just given him a job out of nowhere.
Yeah, he has, yeah. No, he defended his passion, and he was talking about the passion from the fans, which was matched by the owner. He told some lovely colourful anecdotes about how Roman Abramovich was criticised in the latter years of not really attending games at Stamford Bridge, and even when he did, he would rarely go into the dressing room, but he was definitely an owner who enjoyed special moments with players, high-fiving them in glorious cup final victories and such forth, but really didn't want to, be in any way in the limelight. Todd Boehly, you've got to accept that basically loves it. I mean, he loves being the centre of attention. He was confronted during the game, wasn't he, on Saturday by angry fans while he sat in his executive box. And listen, I do think that he's made a very regular habit, I think it's virtually every game, in fact, of going into the dressing room, particularly at Stamford Bridge, crosses over at the other side, walks across the pitch. Everyone can see him do it. Everyone could see him do it on Saturday. I think he's even strode across the pitch with a can of beer in hand, and he's got every right to do that. He owns the club. He bought it for however much. And so I guess it's his prerogative. Lampard was at pains to say, as long as the message was positive and didn't affect the players, then he's basically got no problem with it. And to give that the context, he was saying that basically we really want to put this right. The season has been embarrassing, but let's try and put it right on Tuesday against Real Madrid. I mean, listen, they were massively outplayed, and I think very fortunate to only lose 2-1 against Brighton. And so what a tough task that is against Real Madrid. But, I think, it's going to really take a lot to convince Chelsea fans about Todd Boehly and where his methods lie and whether indeed he's right long-term to get that club back to the success that they've been so used to in recent seasons.
Yeah, Miguel, the Telegraph, the Metro, along similar lines. A couple of things there from John, talking about the message needs to be positive. Not sure that calling the season embarrassing is particularly positive. And how big now is this game against Real Madrid? Because lose this one and there's not much more to play for Chelsea this season.
Well, and the reality is, I mean, personally, I think it's pretty much lost. Even allowing for Chelsea's season so far, I have to say I was struck by just how much better Madrid were in the first leg. There was almost an arrogance in Madrid. Now, that's maybe the one hope for Chelsea tomorrow, and Courtois, who of course came on, got a few boos from the away end on Wednesday. He even mentioned how whether they'll pay the price. The one thing that Madrid could have won by more, maybe should have, and that's where there's an element of hope, because a 2-goal lead isn't that much. There's been a lot of references to 2012. They came back from 2 goals against Napoli. But if there's one club that feels like can just that won't be rustled or ruffled in any way by conceding an early goal to maybe launch a comeback, it's Real Madrid. We already saw how they came back from 2-0 down at Anfield already this season. So it's just asking so much. And that's kind of where Chelsea's season is now, though, where they're pretty much relying on one of these sensations that the Champions League is, but it's going against all logic. And that's pretty much the season. The other side of this, I suppose, is that one thing that should be said. Todd Boehly's kind of made himself one of the game, sort of like one of the old-fashioned characters of the game. A larger-than-life figure. May not necessarily be what Chelsea fans want, but he's been front and centre with a lot of big moments.
Yeah, he certainly has. Bit Ryan Reynolds at Wrexham, but they're winning games of football.